everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing very well today. Today's video, I'm actually really excited because I'm going to be doing the video that's like if I lost all of my makeup collection, which 10 products would I purchase again? Which 10 products would I run to the store and go grab? So let's get into it. Also, I have my iced coffee here, so let's take a coffee break. All right, so I have my little container here of my goodies, so let's go ahead and get started. So for primer, and also I do want to say that I did go like in order of how I do my makeup. So I do start with primer. I do start with my base first. I don't do eyeshadow first. I think it's weird. I don't know how people do it. So I'm starting with primer. So I don't really have a primer. This is actually something that I love to mix in with foundations. I also have it as something that I can actually use as a highlighter. And this is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is a stunning product. I have really fallen in love with this. I haven't used it in a while. I really want to, but this is beautiful. I got it for Christmas. I do have the shade Light number 2. And it is beautiful to mix in with your foundation. I've tried doing it where I just stripe it all over my face, but I noticed that I didn't really like how it looked on my skin that way. So I much prefer like doing a few stripes on the back of my hand, putting a pump of foundation and just like mixing it together that way and applying it with my beauty sponge just like normal. And I love it. And I can see throughout the day just how beautifully radiant it makes my skin, it makes my complexion. And I love mixing it, especially with maybe a foundation that's a little bit more matte. So yes, this is definitely what I would pick, mainly for its versatility. I love that I can use this as a highlight as well because, spoiler alert, I did not pick a highlighter. So moving right along to foundation. So at first I was going to choose the CoverGirl like 3-in-1 Stay Fabulous, that long named foundation. I love that one, and it's really a no fuss foundation for me, but I decided that one of my favorite foundations probably ever is the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I don't think I included this in my collective haul, but this is definitely a foundation that I repurchased during the month of April. I just love this foundation. I do wear the shade LN3. This is available at Walmart. The extensive, like the whole shade range is available on the Physicians Formula website, and I believe on walmart.com. So that's unfortunate that they're pretty limited on which shades they offer in store, but I do know that this is available on Physicians Formula's website and on walmart.com. But this is one of my favorite foundations ever. It's one of my most reliable. I know that it's always going to work for me no matter like what condition my skin is in, no matter what primer I'm using, like what have you. It's always so wonderful. And the shade LN3 works really well for me, and I have mixed it with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, and it looks stunning. So I knew for sure that that would be the foundation that I would choose. So also, I didn't want to, I completely forgot. If I lost all of my makeup, I would be pretty sad and freaking out, and I would probably have to like go through the shock period first and then denial. I mean, I'd have to go through the whole stages of grief. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. I really cannot think of going through something like that. That would make me really sad. My makeup collection is something that I love, and I love going through and just kind of like, they're like my little babies and children in this drawer over here. I love them to death. But how I'm doing this video, and I should have said this at the beginning, I do apologize. How I'm doing this video is I'm assuming that I'm allowed to rebuild my collection, but these are just the first 10 products that I would need. That's kind of how I see it. But for concealer, I'm sorry that I talk about this so much, but this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I just love this concealer so much. It's just one of my favorites. It's honestly my favorite concealer. Concealer is something that I have so many of, and I kind of hate that I do because I just love this one. Although I still love testing out concealers, and I love trying out new drugstore concealers, everything, but still, this is just my favorite. I have the shade Light Peach and it works very well for me, and I also really love that it's affordable. So that is definitely the concealer that I would choose. So cream products, I'm actually really shocked because I only chose a cream bronzer. I am someone who loves cream blush, but I feel like I haven't really found like my favorite cream blush ever in the entire world. I've spoken so highly about the Flower Beauty blush bombs, but I feel like the formula has changed and I'm really sad about it because I used to have the shade Cinnamon and then I accidentally like shipped that out in a Poshmark order because I sold the shade Pinched that I had from Flower Beauty and I didn't care for that shade, so someone purchased the Pinched shade from me and I accidentally shipped off the Cinnamon shade. So I was really sad. I repurchased it right away and it just does not feel the same. So I'm kind of hesitant to keep recommending that. I really need to try it out some more and see, but so far it feels different. And it's crazy because Jessica Braun would say the same thing. And I was like, no, like she's crazy. Like I still love mine. And then I accidentally got rid of mine and I repurchased it and now I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I know what she's talking about. So anyways, as far as cream blush goes, I just feel like I don't really have one that's like standing the test of time for me currently. Of course, I purchased so many cream blushes during the month of April, so I'm still trying to get to know my formulas better. So there's also that issue, but I did choose a cream bronzer and surprisingly I chose the Wet n Wild one. You guys know how much I love the Milk Makeup one, but I was thinking about it. The Wet n Wild one performs the exact same way and it's significantly cheaper, and this is actually like this size of this product is actually something that I could probably finish up, unlike the Milk Makeup one, because the Milk Makeup one comes with so much product. Like I think it's going to expire before I use it all. I mean, I know it is. And I just think that this one from Wet n Wild is a little bit more manageable, but it's absolutely stunning. So this is the cream products, the only cream products that I would choose and the only bronzer I'm actually choosing, because I feel like even though I go in with that one before powdering, I feel like it still provides enough warmth to the skin that I don't need a powder bronzer. So I'm really pleased with that item. Now, an overall setting powder. So this one is honestly just so good, and I feel like it's also, you get so much product in here that I really don't think I need to repurchase one for a while. This is just the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Loose Setting Powder. This is just amazing, you guys. This is so good. It's so affordable, and you get so much product in here. It sets your makeup beautifully. It really does help as well with like the longevity of your makeup. I really enjoy it. I think it's great. And this is the one I'd get. I mean, powder is something that's so simple, and it's something that I just use as a necessity. It's not really something, well, that's a lie. I kind of enjoy it. I kind of do. But it's not as fun as like purchasing a blush or like an eyeshadow palette in my opinion. But I really enjoy this setting powder, and I love that it's affordable, and this is just one that I'd grab. It's easy peasy. Now for a blush. This was very difficult for me because you guys know how much I love blush. But this is the one that when it's in my Shop My Stash rotation, I love it. I love it so much. I never get tired of it. And I'm honestly kind of shocked, but it's the Ofra and Samantha March blush duo in Chiclet. I love this. I love this so, so much. I think it's absolutely stunning. There was a shadow. I don't know. I just love it so much. It's so, so beautiful. I love that you get a shimmery side and a matte side. I also love mixing them both together. It's just so beautiful. And like I said, anytime it's in my Shop My Stash rotation, I never get tired of it. It just adds the most beautiful like radiance and glow to your skin, but it's also very pigmented, and you guys know how much I love a pigmented blush. Blush is one of the first things to go, so I really love to have a blush that's very pigmented and that will be long lasting on the skin because, of course, like I said, it's one of the first things to go. So this is the blush that I'd pick. I don't know how well it's going to correspond with my eyeshadow palette, but that's okay. This is the one I'm choosing, and I'm assuming later on I would purchase more blushes. So that is the blush I would choose. And like I said, I didn't choose a highlighter. I would basically just probably use the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter as a highlighter, a liquid highlighter most likely. There's days as well, even currently, even though I have all of these highlighters, that I don't even go for highlight. So there's that. But now something really boring, but oh my gosh. No! Okay. 1 second. Okay, so I'm so sad because I didn't have, so I have 10 items in here, but I forgot to include a mascara. So I have to get rid of something. I'm so sad. And I am taking out my eyeshadow primer. I'm really sad. Actually, I'm not getting rid of my eyeshadow primer. I'm getting rid of my brow product, and I'll go over as to why in just a second. Okay. So for eye primer, I absolutely need it. I really need it. My eyelids, I wouldn't consider them oily. They're just very creasy. I feel like my eyelids are that of like a 60-year-old or something. I don't know. My eyelids are very creasy, and I just need eye primer. So my favorite is honestly the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. I just love this product. I think it works really well. I also love that it provides some coverage to your eyelids. I love this, and I've been using it since high school, honestly. It's just really good, and it's boring. It's not really a product that's anything fancy or anything, but I need it. So, okay, now this would hurt tremendously if I had to repurchase this. And the sad thing is, I probably will once this expires. It would hurt because it's the Natasha Denona Biba palette. I know, I'm sorry. I keep talking about this palette. I'm so sorry, but this is just my favorite. And you guys, you can look at this palette and just see how much I use it. I'm trying not to drop everything on my lap, but you guys can just see how much I use this palette. I'm trying to make it focus a little bit better. There's just so much use in this palette. I mean, you can see dents. I have dents in the gray shade and my favorite shimmer shade, Monroe. I love this. And honestly, it's my favorite. It's my favorite palette. It's so good. Okay. And I know that Natasha Denona is so expensive, and I'm so sorry that I always talk about this palette, because here's the thing. It's very expensive, but if you are wanting to get a very special gift for someone, or if you are a makeup lover and you really want to try out the formula, this would be the palette in my opinion. It's so good. I love the mixtures of warm and cool tones in this palette. I know I talk about it all the time, but this is the palette that I would repurchase, and I know I'd be happy with it. And I know that I'd probably hit pan on everything, but as far as the brows go, the reason that I put because I was actually going to choose a brow gel, but the reason that I took out the brow product and kept the eyeshadow primer is because I believe I could use the shade Seed right here and use that in my brows. It might be a little bit too light. It's this shade right here. It might be a little bit too light, but I think I could make it work just fine. And like I said, I'm doing this little like challenge thinking that I'll be able to buy some stuff in the future, so that's how I'm doing it. But that would be the palette that I would choose. And then as far as mascara goes, any drugstore mascara would be fine. I love the Essence like False Lash Effect mascara, the green tube, the green and black tube. That's honestly probably what I would repurchase, but any drugstore mascara would be good. So now the final product, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the mascara. Yes, the final product is a lip product. Now I feel like I'm not as in love with lip products as I once was, which is actually shocking. I still buy lip products, of course, but I feel like now with the masks and then I guess just not being able to wear them for so long, I'm kind of used to not wearing them, which is really bad. I try to wear them, of course, when I film, or if I'm out and I know I'm not going to be, you know, really wearing a mask because maybe I'm just going to be around family. But I chose the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. It's fairly new to me and to my collection, but I'm really impressed with it. And the shade that I have is Coconut, and it's a beautiful, beautiful nude shade. And I think it would complement the Biba palette really, really well because it's a pretty warm toned lip color, but it's still nude that it will still work for neutral looks. So this is the product I would choose because it's pigmented, it's very comfortable, it goes well underneath a mask. And yeah, I'm just very impressed with this. I'm not obsessed with the scent, like, to be honest, but I still like the formula so much, and I still enjoy the product so much that it doesn't bother me. But those are the 10 products. That is what I would pick up if I lost all of my makeup collection, if somehow either someone stole all of it or I don't know, something happens that I no longer had my collection. Those are the first 10 products I would repurchase. With that Natasha Denona Biba palette being in there, I'd probably spend about 200 bucks. Oh, luckily for the most part, a lot of things are drugstore, so that's really good. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like this video, and I would love for you to subscribe. Please comment what would be the first 10 products that you would pick up. I would love to know. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye.